explain it differently, that may help you better. You know. So, like I said, I'll give you guys that. I know that computer should have that document with some of those
I
videos.
will share this with.
Okay. Yeah, and there's also some additional videos that are just GC specific that I'll give you guys first.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the batch table. So the first calibration curve is the only one that needs the initialize, and you see it by the parentheses capital. For calibration curve number 2, still do similar step where we change it from unknown to standard, but here we'll keep this middle button selected where it says just add calibration. So now still says standard, but there's no parentheses. So now we know that all 3 of those standards are good.
Do we need to split between calibration and concentration differently? Between separate them between blank, add the blank between each concentration, or no need? Because I usually do this with IC.
With the FID, it probably shouldn't be as much of an issue.
For IC, do I need to split them between with the blank?
Probably shouldn't be any need to.
Oh,
You could probably run the full calibration curve without running a blanks in between each one.
okay.
Yeah. But of course, run blanks before and after.
Yeah. All right.
One question.
Yeah.
So does this mean we always have to input one blank, then cal 1, cal 2, cal 3, then our number of samples, then null, and shut down in that order always?
No, this is just an example
Okay.
of if you're running a blank, this is what these settings should be set to. If
Okay,
you're running a
okay.
calibration curve, this is what this should be set to.
Okay.
So now that we have our 3 curve or calibration points changed from unknown to standard, now we need to go over here where it says level number. So the only time that you should change it from 0 is with calibration curves. So blanks, samples, nulls should all stay at 0. So what the level number, what it means is, like so we have a 3-point calibration curve. Point 1 is the lowest. Then we have the middle concentration in the highest. So that's what the level number represents. So level number 1 means that's the lowest calibration curve point. So 1 and 1 is good. But for cal 2, that's our middle point. So we're going to type in 2. And then for cal 3, we'll type in 3. So if we had a 10-point calibration curve, essentially we would work our way from level 1 to level 10. Exactly. Okay. So next thing that's important is our method filing. So whenever I created these templates, I put in the method files that we use for our test runs during the installation. So whenever you create a new batch table from the templates I created, you'll have to make sure you update the method file to the appropriate method. So if you need to change your method file, what you'll do is click the box and click the down arrow, and then navigate to the appropriate folder that contains your method. So let's say, for example, I just want to put this method in. This is a different method. So now I'll click OK. So now you can see, the name change right here. If you want to apply this method to the rest of them, just copy it and just highlight, paste like. Okay. 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 So as for file numbers, I know I mentioned, if we have everything files in from position 1 through 9, but there's 2 things at the bottom of the list that actually don't require a sample file. The first one is the null, because like I said, we're not injecting anything. We're just letting the instrument run for however long our runtime is. So if you want to perform a null run for file number, you can change that either to 0 or you can change it to -1, and it knows that it's a null run. It's not going to inject anything. As for the shutdown, I know that y'all, so they had a shutdown. Yeah, so they had a shutdown procedure at the end of their batch tables for the IC. So essentially what the shutdown method is you say it's a lower flow state.
Also, it should be -1, guys.
So
It should be -1, the vial.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if we have a shutdown method added at the end, you should also do either -1 or 0, since we're not injecting anything. Essentially, what this is doing is that trying to think of this. Yeah. So since we have the shutdown information input in right here, we also need to keep in mind that we need to have the correct shutdown method file put in right here, because like I said, the instrument parameters for this method, has everything at a really high temperature, whereas the shutdown method, everything is at a lower temperature. So just like what we did at the top, we'll just click the arrow, click shutdown, open. Now we have a shutdown.
And for the null, it would be the same as above.
No, not shutdown.
The
So
null.
yeah, for the null injection, for the null run, it should be the same method you use for essentially your sample run as well. Yeah, because like I said, that's to make sure that that null run is the same temperature and flow parameters as what you did for your samples. So now at this point, we've created a batch table. So before you start your batch table run, you need to save your batch table and name it. So you can either click File and save batch table and then name it, or if you don't want to click File and do that, whenever you click the play button to start real-time batch, it'll ask if you want to save it there. We'll look at type our name. After we do that, everything will start ready to run. All right. So, like I said, that is what I wanted to go over today because I'm brain dead. I know everybody else. Oh, okay. Well, hey, y'all do y'all's thing. What I'm going to do now, like I said, I'm going to load up that shutdown method. We're going to make sure everything comes down to the appropriate temperatures. And once the FID is at 100, turn that flame off and make sure that the TCD current is set to 0 where everything's coming down to temperature. Then once the FID is at 100, the flame's off and the column oven injection ports are, 80, between below 100 degrees Celsius as well. Then at that point, we can close out of the software and power up. So that's what I'm going to do now. You go back to data acquisition, open up. I'm going to open up the shutdown method. Oh, yeah, no problem. And I'm going to click download. Cool. So now, fan kicks on, everything's starting.
Cooling down.
Yes, exactly. And we see our status over here starting to turn yellow.
And it's calm down to 100 degrees Celsius now.
Yes. So that shutdown parameter I just loaded in, all the numbers in the gray on the right hand side are what the parameters in the method. The blue numbers that are slowly changing, of course, that's like the real time what's going on. So yeah, so we're waiting for this to get down to 100 before we turn off the flame, turn off the detector on the front. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to lines.
There's so much noise.
Check.
Okay, I thought that was.
Current off for the shutdown method. Yeah, and it reflects over there on the front panel. Current set 0. We're good. So yeah, like I said, now this could be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half. Just depends on how hot, how cold the lab is before everything reaches to the appropriate temperature for us to actually power it up.
It will take 30 minutes.
Between 30 minutes to an hour and a half. It'll vary. It'll vary.
And after that, we will turn off the instrument and then switch off the cylinder, right?
Yes. Yeah. So once everything has come down to temperature, we've turned off the flame for the FID, and we've turned the detectors off for the FID,
How?
the TCD, the button. There's a button for each detector that says detector on,
Oh,
detector off. Yeah. So that's what we did at the beginning to start up to turn on the detectors. That's what we were doing on the front.
not the one on the right.
No. On the screen.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
Yeah, because you want to manually turn off the flame for the FID by opening. Actually, I'll let you navigate the front panel. So hit the home button at the very top. Okay. So now we are looking at line two. Well, let's look at the FID. So the FID was line. Hang on. Okay, then I'll click the button that says. Okay, so
Not now.
yeah, because if we turn off the flame before 100 Celsius, condensation occurs under that little very flat of the FID. And like I said, whenever we go to start it back up, and there's water, condensation of water built up under there, it's going to take a long time for that flame to ignite. So if that happens, you actually just want to have all of your gases for your FID flow on, but do not ignite flames, because what you're doing at that point is you're purging the FID to remove the condensation. So I mean, you could possibly do that for another before the FID condensation is removed from the FID. That's why it's crucial to not turn the flame off of the FID until we're at 100 Celsius. So yeah, so once. Yeah, so it was set to what, 250 or 280 originally, the old method. And like I said, just because everything is so hot, we're trying to cool everything down to a almost touchable temperature, basically. So that's why the waiting period can all just change from 30 minutes to an hour now, just depending on how hot everything is set to. You know, do what exactly? No. So so whenever I open up the shutdown method and I click download to send this information to the instrument, so I'll open up. So click the detector. So the FID is set to 100 degrees Celsius. So the software will automatically change the temperature for us. The software will not extinguish the flame for us. That's why we have to use the front panel to extinguish the flame. And like I said, that's whenever, once it reaches 100 Celsius, then as long as we're under the FID detector, here we are. But on, there's a split battery, and that turns the flame. That just turns it. So if you change the line to so now this is the information from line 2, which one is yeah, so this that like I said, I mean honestly, whenever it reaches 100, yeah, once it reaches 100, that's when you press that problem. Just for this. Yeah, you don't have to wait for the PCB to get on.
And then what's there's going to be?
That's if an additional line configuration was added for an additional injection. That's just, it's just all there. Everything's going good so far. Yeah, like I said,
Yeah, just get this overlock.
Yeah.
what time do you think works for everybody to start the market?
Tomorrow. At what time will this?
Sorry, early. I just want to make sure everybody's here on.
I'll be from 8, 9, maybe.
We can do,
Initial.
yeah, we do 9.
9? Okay.
If you want to let everybody else know.
If you assign this time, they will come.
Okay.
Or if you leave it as they know, they won't know. So yeah, let's meet at 9.
Yeah, we do 9. And then like I said, if anybody gets in, before 9 o'clock tomorrow. Also,
Tell them.
if people get in early and want to go ahead and prepare our samples, like Dr. B was talking about, that way whenever we get here, the first thing we can do is start.
Okay, I will be here at 8.
Okay.
So what do you want me to do?
Follow Dr. V's protocol for sample.
For
for preparing the sample